Hi, I'm Chris, also known as That French Bloke. This is the part 2 of my I've Seen the Light video series. In the part 1, you've seen that I bought about 20 headlights from this guy. This guy and many more like to sell, and in this part, I'm going to fetch some more because we agreed on a good deal. So it's now 9 o'clock Sunday morning. I'm now on my way to go and fetch the rest of those car parts. I've mentioned earlier that I was hoping to come to a deal with a guy, and he offered me, basically, it wasn't much negotiation on my part, I must admit, but he offered me €450 for all his car parts. And I accepted. I didn't even negotiate the offer. I had in mind that I would offer him 400. He came to me at 450. I said, well, I don't want to spend too much time on the negotiation, and more so as well. The guy has obviously has a lot of business. He's buying big garages, he's buying big lots that he cut in smaller parts. So I'm hoping that I'll make business with him again. So I didn't want to go down too heavily on him. I want to build a relationship here. Remember, that is why I paid up for the first lot, €200. It was for 20 headlights, which is both good and bad. Good because I've listed so far 9 of those headlights out of the 20, and I had a total value of 375, and already one of those sold for €35. So €375, it's for half of the lot. So even if it's not even half of the lot. So I'm basically having like a 700 euros worth of headlights that I paid 200 for it. So in that term, it's good. Where it's bad, it's because maybe I could have had it for less money. But I've paid up because I wanted to meet the guy and try to get the rest for cheaper, which I did. When I say 700 euros worth of headlight, I have to say, because I want them to sell, I'm pricing them roughly at the price of second-hand items, even if mine are brand new parts and they are brand new original. Most of them are brand new original. There are a few Chinese knockoff in the mix, but most of them is good stuff. So let's have a look at what I'm going to pick up today. Here's things. I've got 30, those ones are second-hand, 30 headlights and taillights. Another lot of 20, which are 18 brand new and 2 second-hand. This one is 19. They're all brand new. Here is a lot of 17 headlights and taillights that are second-hand, those ones. This one is 17 again, but they are brand new. And I also have this lot, which is mirrors. There's 25 car mirrors. Most of them it's the wall attachment, but the 25 are the wall attachment. Some are brand new, some are second-hand, and there's also about 20 just a mirror. So there's some money here. I'll do that too. So 450 euros for, I think there's 130 items. If I average a 30 euro sale for each of those, which I may not have, but if I average a 30 euro sale for each of those, I'm not far from $4,000 worth of headlight, and I'm paying 450 for it. So I'm making almost 10 times my money. That is a brilliant deal. That is why I didn't want to squeeze that guy too much there, because I want him to call me next time we've got something interesting. Okay, so let's go and fetch the thing and see how it goes. So, here is what I've purchased today. So there's about 130 pieces, I believe. I feel like there's more. There's certainly more than I expected. It's a lot of mess. So there is, at first here you've got all the second-hand parts, and behind and underneath it's all brand new stuff in the box. I think I have lots of work saying that I'm not too happy about the second-hand stuff. By that what I mean is that there is too much of it, and it will be, I think, hard to sell and not much money, but hey, I'm pretty sure, well, it's obvious, I'm going to make a lot of money with that lot. Lots of money, but lots of work. So, let's hit the road. So that's it. I've put everything in my trailer that will be my storage area for now, at least my buffer storage area. Here is what I have. So on the top, once again, I've put all the loose headlights. There's some more here. And on the bottom I've tried to put all the boxes. Okay, and here is my studio. Now the fun will begin, because I'll have to go through that and list everything, and we'll see how much money I make. I noticed that in the second-hand one there is quite a few ones that have little issues. Some issues are little, like this one. It's just this little fixation here that is broken. Some it's have a bit more damage, so I don't know what I'll be able to do with those ones. Even that can be an issue, especially that's because it's come from it's a very recent light. I guess on some older one, if there is a little problem with it, it doesn't matter that much, because people who will have older car and fix them themselves, they are ready to spend more time and have it cheaper, because the main problem is they don't have the money, but often they will have the time and the skills. But if you have it fixed by a professional, they won't spend like hours to fix the light before fitting it. So, but this, I'll have a look if I can, like, there's some part here that have their own reference number. I'll have a look if I can solve them separately. There might be more money in parting those out. And for the rest, hey, I've got lots of parts. Most of them are Volkswagen or Audi, but I've got other make, Renault, Ford, you name it. European car. I think I've seen a Toyota headlight, but that's about it. Well, I have a drink, and I'll see if I start listing now or if I'll do other things.
As I said in the video, I had lots of work to do before I could save the light. So let's talk about how much work was involved into processing and selling those lights. I count the load that I put in part 1 and everything that you've seen in this video as one big load in terms of time and processing. It took me about a day to go and pick up the light. Driving there was about an hour each way, and when you count the fact that I've been there twice, that's already 4 hours. If you factor in the time I had to spend to go and pick up the van, the time spent chatting with the guy, loading, unloading, all that, I rounded up at 8 hours or 1 day of work. Processing the light was faster than what I thought. By processing, I mean identifying the light, making a price for them, taking a picture, storing them, and listing them. At first, I was spending about an hour a day doing this, and in 1 hour, I could take about 10 lights through the process of identification, pictures, and storing. After a while, I spent 2 full afternoons just processing the light, and that was it. Listing was very, very fast. It took like 1 to 2 minutes to list a light. Altogether, I think it took me about 16 hours or 2 days of work to process and list everything. All in all, there were less work than I thought, but it was boring work. I mean, when was the last time you heard something say, oh look, there's a headlight for a Golf here? No, that doesn't happen. One thing I like in my business is selling camera, because that's something I'm passionate about, and I'm passionate about cars. I've always been a gearhead, a petrolhead, whatever. I love cars, but honestly, headlights is not the part I like the most about them. And it wasn't only boring, it was dirty. Those boxes have been stored in a dusty environment, some of them for more than 20 years, and they were all covered of dust and I believe as well some soot from the fire they had. At first, I've tried cleaning up the boxes. What I've learned is that it's a waste of time. Don't do it, because you can spend a long time trying to clean up a card box. You will remove lots of dirt from it, but in the end, every time you touch it, you will end up being as dirty as if you've done nothing. So don't do that. So this will conclude this part 2 for this video. There will be a part 3 in which I will go through the numbers and I will share with you some tips that I've picked up along the way when I was processing this lot. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for part 3 of this video.